Do you want to brush up your coding resume and increase your chances of being hired? I'm here to help today. First thing, I'm not a professional recruiter, but as a CEO of a small software development company, I have interviewed hundreds of software engineers and I hired and fired software engineers. So this would be tips from a perspective of someone with some experience in this. Not only that, I will share with you some information that I have acquired while applying to huge tech companies on behalf of my software engineers. Ready? Let's go. If you don't know me, I'm Olga. I own a small software development company and I run my company from home, and on this channel I'm sharing a lot about IT businesses and IT careers. So if you want to get a high-paid IT profession that allows you to work from home, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon and learn exactly how to do that. There is already a playlist on getting into IT tips, so make sure to check this one out. After this episode, the link will be in the description below. Now, the first tip would be use the right keywords in your titles. Now, if you apply to a tiny or a medium-sized company, this wouldn't be necessary, honestly, because in small and medium-sized companies, recruiters typically look through CVs manually, like they open each CV and look through it. But if you apply to a huge tech company, they don't have the time to look manually every single resume out of thousands resumes that they receive daily. So they just push it through filters and see which fit best. So if you are applying to a big tech company, then make sure you use the right keywords specific to the position that you're applying to, so that to get picked out by this automation tool. Like I said, if you're applying to a small company or if you're looking to get a job in a small company, this wouldn't be necessary. But if you plan to apply to a huge company, make sure to do it right from the very start. My second tip would be as precise and as concise as possible. Don't write the entire novel in your CV. No one would read that. Of course, you should share what the project was about, what was your role, and what impact you did in that project. But again, that shouldn't be a novel. You should be as precise with the technologies you use and how extensively you use them as possible. The next one is obvious, but then not everybody does that, and that is don't use any crazy formatting. Using like colored fonts only shows your unprofessionalism, and it also reveals your insecurity, because if you cannot beat you with your skills, you use formatting. Don't do that. Be simple and use the same font. It might be even Times New Roman, so use the same font throughout all of your CV, and don't include any crazy tables that are hard to understand even for recruiters. So don't do that. Just a list of what your experience is and what your skills are. Now the next one is my favorite, and that is don't lie, because your lie will be revealed easily. Don't lie and don't exaggerate your skills, neither in written nor in oral form, because you don't even understand how easy it is to reveal your lie. Even me, being a non-tech person, I can understand, I can see when a tech person is lying, and I know exactly how to catch them. And when I attract my tech founder to interviews, and he interviews those people, and then they say something, oh yes, I worked with this technology and that technology, and then he starts asking them questions that will reveal they are being very weak in this topic. This is very frustrating, to say the least. It will only humiliate you, and you will be the cause of this humiliation. So don't do that, don't lie. If you have used this technology just like once, don't write that you are an expert in it. On the other hand, the next tip would be put your strengths in the beginning of your CV, because sometimes when the CV is too long, people don't even have the time to read all of that, and I can only read the summary or the first like 3 lines, and I can understand who I'm seeing in front of myself. Is it a C++ engineer or a Java engineer? So who are you? So what are your strengths? For example, I might be having 2 positions open, both for C++ engineer and both for Java engineer. So what would you prefer more? This is why you should put your strengths in the beginning, because most probably the interviewer will ask you exactly about these strengths, the lines that they see in the very beginning of your CV. Now, another very common mistake is writing in very general terms about what you have done in your previous projects, like providing scripts for something. Don't do that. Don't write what you have done. Rather, write what your impact on the project was. For example, have you increased the overall performance of the app, or have you increased the speed of the operation? So what was your impact in this exact project? What was your part in this project that influenced this project in a positive way? Now, another one very important is proofread your CV. If you have someone who can help you with outlining your CV, that is even better. But if you don't have anyone, but you can actually ask for help from your connections, ask for reading, for a feedback, not even for proofreading, because that is too much to ask sometimes, but at least for providing a feedback. Does your CV look good, look appealing enough to them? Of course, if you can invest into professional services like, I don't know, Expertier and other services on the web that will help you outline a perfect CV, do that, but that is not something everybody can afford to do. The cheapest price I have met on the web was like $100 for a CV. It's not huge, but then not everybody is ready to invest. And then the last tip, and we'll jump straight into CV examples that I find good and bad, is have a perfect cover letter. Because if your cover letter is lame as hell, nobody will even download your CV to look whether you are really worse or whether you are really bad at writing. Here again, you can use two ways. You can either search through the web for cover letter for a Java engineer position, for example, or cover letter for a data engineer position. Either you look in the web for similar examples, or you ask someone to do that for you, someone from your connections, or if you have a recruiter to whom you're acquainted and who is willing to help, or pay for outlining a cover letter. But honestly, you can find that online. But make sure that your cover letter is good enough. Now, let's jump exactly into our CV examples that I find good and bad, and why. Now, okay, so let me first start with the bad examples of the CVs that I received in the course of the past year, starting summer 2020, for a couple of positions that were opened in our company. And let's start with those that I consider bad resumes, bad examples of resumes, and I believe you will see why. So here's the first resume that I received. I even won't be hiding any data because actually there is no data involved. There is no name. I haven't removed anything from here. There is no name, no contact information, nothing about who this person is, whether this is he or she, what technology stack do they use. So you can understand literally nothing. This is like a flow of conscience. So I presume this is the first position that that person had. But can you actually understand what that person did? Here is some know-all about what the project was about, but nothing about the role, the part of the project that this person actually did. Now, another example of the CV that I consider to be not very favorable, and it does include contact information and the photo of the person. So the beginning looks fine, but starting with the professional summary, this summary reveals like no information whether this person is actually fit for the position that he is applying to. That is a he. He only says he's a motivated, open to expanding expertise, troubleshooting skills, will have mentoring experience, good team player, general phrases that tell me nothing in terms of whether he is a good fit for the position. Like if he wrote something like a Java engineer with a strong focus on machine learning projects, that would have told me something. The formatting looks good. I like the formatting here. It's clean, it's simple, just the way it should be. But can you understand which tech stack he used? I would have included something like duties or impact or whatever and made it something like this. Now technologies like this and role like this. As is, it's very hard to read and to understand. Just, visually, it's very hard. Okay, another terrible resume that I have received looks like this. Profile. Shall I read all of this blanket of text? No, I won't read it, sorry. Now, experience. It's really hard to understand which technologies he worked with because there are none indicated. Again, no technologies, no technologies. And in the very end of his resume, here are skills, sort of skills. I'm really not sure whether he worked with those technologies or whether he just put them by chance, because in his description, sort of description of the projects, not a word is said except for the working with some C++ library. Okay. So let's go to the better looking resume. Now let's look at this one. This is a template used from Canva, right? A hack is to use templates from Canva. They have some great, amazing CV templates, and you can try and use some from there. But while it does look nice and visual, some tech people, if your resume will get into the hands of a tech person, they don't like bright colors. I don't know why. And it's in PDF format, and many recruiters don't like resumes being sent in PDFs because those cannot get through their filters, automatic filters, and overall they just prefer it to be sent in doc. And when you download the template from Canva, you can only download it in PDF. Okay, so let's go straight into another example, which I think is a very good one. You might be surprised, but I do think this is a very good one. Here, the person indicated his name and his contact details, so I'll leave them in the upper corner of this resume. And he indicates who he is straight away: expert level software architect and senior software engineer. What he does. Perfect. So I know that this person is an architect, and from his very summary, I understand that he does have this deep knowledge of software design methodologies, because only software architect would have indicated that. And his career history is very good one. It's easy to read because it's, the layout is easy to read, like I said, point by point, and what he did and what his impact was and the technologies used on the project and so on. And in the end, we have very neatly outlined tech stack. Perfect. This is how it should look like. No excessive formatting, but at the same time, very easy to read and very easy to understand step by step what he did and what his expertise is and what he is experienced at. Now, if you're willing to learn more about IT businesses and IT world, make sure to subscribe for IT People Community waitlist. The link is in the description box below. And also, let me know what your questions are. What CV example have you found the most appealing? Drop any of your questions below. I answer to every single comment, so make sure to say hi to me in the comments. And if you still haven't, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to learn new hacks on how to get into IT, how to start an online business, how to start an IT business. Make sure to subscribe to learn all of that, and I will see you next Wednesday as usual. I'll be waiting. Bye.